Dispute between Vodacom and Nkosana Makate rages on. The hashtag Please Call Me movement has sprung up in support of Makate. Tonight we speak to Modise Setwara, head of the movement. Very good to have you with us. Do you have any idea what the settlement is?
No, I don't have any idea what the settlement is. However, I do have the information of that appeared last year in April and on Power FM, Shola Mashao's show specifically, where the inventor himself did allude to the fact that Vodacom is making 70 billion, or he claims to have to need 70 billion. But at the court, Alan Craig said they're getting 20 million please call me's daily. If you calculate that just in a year, that's 7.3 billion.
Okay, so you guys have no idea what he's going to get, and you're demonstrating on the streets and you've no idea what the number is.
We don't need to be to know
what you should know.
No.
You should know if he's been treated badly or not.
No, we don't need to know what the numbers are. What the inventor needs, the compensation he needs is the compensation that Vodacom should pay to him. There's no problem if Vodacom closes shop, like Mr. Nyoga says, and we have a Makate.com. If that what Vodacom owes him makes Vodacom close down, let Makate take over. That's fine.
But Vodacom has been playing according to the rules of the Constitutional Court. They were told that they have to go and make an offer, which they did under the new leadership. They, in fact, increased the offer to him. So, according to them, what they are doing is fair, and can't understand what's happening on the streets and what the end game is here.
This shouldn't be according to Vodacom. This should be according to the facts.
Well, there are two players here.
No, this should be according to the facts. Remember in 2011, when the Judge Spilch said they have to make the KPMG report available to Mr. Makate, specifically page 25 to page 37, that says how much the please call me is making. So the judge even said, if Makate is going to go into the negotiations with Vodacom and he doesn't have the KPMG report, he'll be negotiating blindly. So does he have the KPMG report? Has Vodacom released? All we know is that Vodacom said to us that the KPMG report is confidential, which is a lie. The Constitutional Court said Vodacom should negotiate fairly and just not go through emotions and should compensate Makate. So what we see as the public, as the Please Call Me movement, we're having a conglomerate, a big company, saying we're waiting for Makate's bank accounts on Twitter, saying Makate didn't invent. Why were they negotiating? Why are you paying Makate if he didn't even invent the thing?
Well, okay, well, let's talk about that. News 24, Toby Shapshak, he's a tech guru, say that actually it's not their app after all, that it actually belongs to Ari Khan. He's the true inventor of the service, and that there's a paper trail here which shows that indeed that is true. He did this for MTN.
I'm sure where David Kau and Kagiso Lidliga are sitting are looking at a potential stand-up comedian here. Mr. Arikan should have came and testified in court that he has an invention before Mr. Makate. And
well,
even if
he
patented it, was it made public? Was the patent public or not? Because if the patent was public, then maybe Mr. Makate would have copied.
Public record.
Was it on public record?
Yes.
Right. Let's talk about Arikan's invention. IVR, that's what MTN is running on. IVR is like a voice recorder. It's intermittent voice recorder. When you call whatever number that you call, it will say if the subscriber is not available, if you press 1, send your number, 2, whatever the case is. Even the call centers are using that. That's IVR. Mr. Makate's USSD SMS invention. That's star 140 star, whatever number that is there. That's a first world creation that Mr. Makate came up with. Now, 18 years down the line, in a democratic country, we're sitting at a place where we're still battling with how much compensation Mr. Makate is sitting on.
And it's become a political thing, hasn't it? Why has it turned into such a political football now?
I like the analogy of football. But look, we thank all the political parties that supported us.
I mean, you've got the ANC,
We've got the ANC,
education there. I mean, why would he be doing this in his personal capacity?
Look, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi is an activist before he's ANC. Remember, in South Africa, we had a very, very terrible state. And Mr. Panyaza was one of the people who were activists who fought for the freedom of South Africa without,
demonstrating as an
without
activist,
looking for compensation, without looking to be an MEC now. Now that he has a position, we should not contest his position. We should look at what he's doing. He's taking the fight forward. He's saying to South Africa, South Africans, here is an injustice happening. The same apartheid tactics are being used by Vodacom. They send me a lawyer's letter, a cease and desist lawyer's letter saying I must not protest. Why should Vodacom do that in a democratic state?
So what is the end game for you now? How far are you prepared to take this? How long will these protests go on for?
Look, together with the movement and other progressive forces and other business people, we were in a war room just now, I think an hour or two ago. What we said, we're going to mobilize around this issue, and we're going to encourage all the business forums to tell their members not to stock Vodacom's airtimes and products. We're going to start going to Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs, that if they're playing the derby on the 9th, they must not wear any sponsored Vodacom's T-shirts. Because this war on its own, this is black excellency. This is where we have to look at our history, where we come from. Now we have a township boy who, from whatever history that he had, will not talk about that. But here he is now. He's creating something that is actually helping people, helping the other even countries. Vodacom sold this on their admission to other countries out there. They've made a lot of money out of the invention. Now here this book is coming up with this invention.
And you're hearing things about storming buildings, that's not going to happen, is it?
Sorry?
You hear things about storming buildings, that's not going to happen.
You see, that is what is expected from a black man. He has to run around shouting, banning things, and then we're going to say, no, these are hooligans. So we're disappointing Vodacom every time. We've been on this thing for 10 months, but we've never disturbed...
I mean, this has been going on for 18 years, so why now?
2 years, like I alluded to you when I was listening to that show, 2 years after the Concord ruling. I also thought Makate was well off, he's been paid, he's okay. I was even celebrating. But 2 years down the line, I found out that Makate has not been paid. That's 2 years after the Concord ruling. Remember, in this country, do you remember CODESA? How we had to get CODESA, the one man, one vote? There was CODESA 1 and CODESA 2. Do you know how CODESA 2 ended? Krisani had to die. That's why the 27th of April is very important.
Okay. Marusa Setoba, thank you very much for talking to us.